Shoulder internal rotation plus extension, pails and rails. Now this can be done a few different ways. Check the sheet for which way I want you to do it, but you can do it standing and pretend I'm standing here just so the camera angle doesn't change. But the way we're going to do this is we're going to take your shoulder into extension. We're then going to internally rotate, so that end range position where we finish with our car, we're going to internally rotate it, and then as best as you can, you're going to put your hand on the back side of your spine. So that could be just on your butt right here. It could be all the way down here. It could be just simply staying here on your leg. Or if you're got a little more range here, it could be all the way up into this position. Whichever position you can get a stretch in, preferably the front side of that shoulder, that's what we're looking for. Any variation of that will work. We can do it kneeling down like I'm doing it here, or you can use gravity to your help, to your assistance here, and get down on the ground and do it. I'm going to demonstrate on the ground just so you can see the entire rep here. But I'm going to take my hand into extension right here. I'm going to internally rotate it. So internally rotate that shoulder and then placing the hand where I feel a stretch. And depending again on what the sheet says, you can do both at the same time here. So I could have both my hands on the back side here, similar to my end position on a swimmer. From this position, you hopefully guessed the pails and rails. Pails is driving my hands down into the back right here. So I'm trying to drive out of this position as best I can, squeezing the front side of my shoulders. The rails is driving my hands up and away, and here's the big challenge here. I want to drive my hands off my low back without my elbows coming up. So you notice the first thing I did there, as I started to try to come up, was my elbows started to rise. Try not to do that. So realistically, if I'm doing this with my range here, I'm trying to squeeze in this position, backside of my shoulder, maybe a little bit of front side too, trying to lift them off as best I can, and then relaxing maybe a little bit deeper into it. Again, you have to figure out where you can feel that contraction. If I'm doing it here, it's a little bit easier in that I don't have gravity fighting against me, so I can maybe lift off as best as possible. But again, I don't want that elbow to move back here, because if I move back here, then I'm faking a little bit of or adding a little more extension than I need to then get myself off in that position. I'm trying to just get into more internal rotation here, not just more extension. Again, this is going to be very uncomfortable because we're combining two different planes of motion, two different ranges of motion, into one pail and rail. That's okay. Just